Hey, how about you? How are you doing?
What's that?
How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I am good. Right now, I am in South Dakota. So I'm enjoying the Mount Rushmore state right now, joining you all. So I think we have multiple time zones represented as always, even just across the US. All right. So, Yarrow, why don't you go ahead and kick us off? You've been a busy little bee over there since we last talked. So tell me what's going on your end, what you're up to.
So June and July, we have spent a lot of time planning for the rest of the year. So our big plans now for the fall and December to skyrocket in our reconstruction efforts, which is our core competence. So we are in conversation with multiple funding organizations that will allow us to do a lot more projects because construction is a very cost consuming
Yeah.
activity. So just on our fundraising efforts alone, we can afford bigger projects. So that's where we need the contribution from the partners and funders around the world. So this is our priority now.
Mhm.
We see how well we have done our planning in June and July, if that has been successful or not. I think was the next months or two. But overall, uh, it has become much more challenging for us to keep our operations ongoing, just because of similar what we discussed before,
Yeah.
just because the trend line is dropping for assisting Ukrainian humanitarian projects. A lot of organizations, which are also similar to Vector, have run out of fundraised funds to keep supporting as a project. So many of the organizations started retrieving their funds. So that means on our end, it becomes a lot more complex than it used to be. But the hope now is that there is still much more construction for us to do. So we will see very soon.
Yeah. So that, yes, let's talk about that for a minute because that's something I did not really realize that how much of that you were doing. So, how are you choosing where you're building? Are you getting just materials in country? What does that look like in the process?
It's a very complex process. So it starts all the way from selecting the, let's say, the beneficiary. And
Mhm.
that in this case doesn't mean a singular individual, but that could be a school or hospital, a shelter. Then as soon as we assess all of the damages, all of the impact of the construction work, all the way down to putting everything in the bill of quantities, which is a very detailed breakdown of all materials included in the types of works, plus all of the expertise from the construction labor. Now, all of that is being formed into a request that we share with the funding partner. So that could be nonprofits who are seeking to get an exposure to, let's say, to Ukraine, or that could be commercial companies such as banks and so on. So now we are communicating with those types of organizations where they can discuss our requests with them. But that's tailored down to just working uh, on one beneficiary like school or hospital. But of course, there are much bigger projects
Yeah.
that would need 6 and 7 digit numbers in a budget. So those would need to be sponsored by the governmental agencies, just like we used to work with International Organization for Migration, and we are in the process of conversation with them to put more winterization projects for this winter, but
Yeah.
they have enough resources to talk about 6 and 7 digit numbers. So that means that now we don't just choose one individual beneficiary, but we choose, let's say, 60 apartments in one apartment complex for renovation. We choose several shelters. So everything that I just referred, but on a much bigger scale.
Yeah. Okay. So that is primarily what you're focused on. I think last time we spoke, you were still gathering up supplies to be able to send another shipment on, but right now you're focused on construction?
Core competencies that nobody else does as well as we do on the east of Ukraine, yes, construction. But in the meantime, we try to work with our portfolios that we started last year, but we try to continue grow that range of portfolio too. So we also actively work, I would say, quite every day to put more containers together. So we are we are putting 2 more containers right now, and we're partnering with Airlinks that I also told you earlier about to support the hospitals on east of Ukraine.
Perfect.
So, some projects are ongoing.
Yeah.
Some projects have deadlines.
Yes. Yes. Very familiar. Yes. Thanks. And Vicky, what about you? What's happening at Matter?
Thanks. Hi, everybody. I have almost daily contact with Yarrow and Natalia, so good to be with you guys on this call. And Louisa, I've forgotten who you are with.
She's with us. She's on my team.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So outside of the things that Yarrow and Natalia and I are working on together, which I will also hit on, Matter is extremely busy. We are experiencing very high volume of incoming equipment and supplies from hospitals. It's typical that in June and July, major hospitals go through inventory process. So we have been inundated with sometimes more than 100 pallets in a week. So we have a lot of things to contribute right now because we're just trying to share everything that we've brought in. And in addition to providing it for Natalia and Yarrow and anyone else through this connection would like to have things, we're also ramping up our hospital and clinic program by working with more hospitals partners in other countries. And in addition to that, we are growing our partnerships with medical schools and nursing schools and wildlife raptor centers and veterinarians because they can use expired supplies. That's a very big problem for hospitals. There are other organizations like ours who take in supplies like we do. MedShare and Project Cure are really big ones with multiple warehouses across the country. We're much smaller. We just have one warehouse, but they don't take anything that's going to expire within 12 months. And so we're trying to help the hospitals with that problem. So we've been very busy working in that area. So that's really just on the medical side. Yeah, so I'm grateful for our partnerships with Yarrow and with UA Resistance that have quickly become important for us.
What a great solution. I love the fact that you're partnering with veterinary supplies because MedShare located in Atlanta, our team has volunteered there, and it is like painful to try and, say something still looks really good, but you're supposed to throw it out. So I took home a bunch of boxes and I'm like, I will find a home for these. I'm not throwing them in the garbage.
Yeah, I mean, in recent weeks, Yarrow and Natalia are the beneficiaries of this. We are getting completed COVID kits, testing kits that have in them needles, syringes. I can't remember what else is in it, but along with it is a box of alcohol prep pads. So everything in this kit is in date till 25 or 26, except for the alcohol prep pads are expired. And so the hospitals say, well, forget it. It's really not worth taking all these things apart. They just donated thousands of these kits to us. And so we're having volunteers take them apart and just find another place for the prep pads. And those can be used to those other expired categories that I mentioned to you. And then using these other things that are in date for a few good years for organizations like Natalia's and Yarrow's.
Yeah. The the equipment piece was something I didn't know you did as much of. I know you mentioned that in emails and in the WhatsApp group recently. So do you have, I think it was crutches you got for Yarrow. What are some other, do you have anything in excess that you specifically want to mention for people?
Sure. The crutches actually went to Natalia, and
Oh,
that was
Natalia,
through a
okay.
third party. We have a really good partner out in New Jersey, but they also have they connected with Natalia's group in
Okay.
LA to take I think 14,000 pairs of crutches that were perfectly good for them to send over. So yeah, that worked out really well. It was a win-win, a triple win.
Yes.
As far as equipment is concerned, we are looking for almost anything that we can, that's in good workable condition. So yeah, we look for almost anything. What our partners are doing is sending us pictures of things they've got, and then we'll be able to tell right away if it's something that we can use. But in general, we can repurpose just about anything that we get.
Okay. And then for any of our partners that have needs, is there, I know you always have mixed medical supplies. Is there anything else you have right now that is a good something somebody might want?
Yeah, we have some bulk supplies that the difference between a mixed medical supply is a single pallet that has non-inventoried um, a mixture of a variety of things, but there's no inventory on it. Some things are expired, some are not, but all really good usable things.
Right.
So that's the mixed medical supply pallet. And then we also have bulk pallets. So it would be whole pallets of one item. So sutures, catheters, respirator tubing. There's just a big variety of things.
Okay.
So I would say if there's anybody listening to this that is interested in learning more, to just reach out, because it's a constantly changing inventory. We're moving things in and out on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So what might come in this week or next week is very different than what we had 2 weeks ago.
It's always hard to believe your team is small when you talk about how much you guys do. It's really amazing.
Yeah. We're small but mighty.
Yes, 100%.
I hope Yarrow and Natalia, you guys will come visit us sometime.
Sounds like a good trip. Natalia, what is UA Resistance up to these days?
Containers and ambulances.
Ambulances specifically. Okay.
Ambulances, yeah. So we collect ambulances all over the United States. We fill them up with supplies. The last batch of 22 vehicles were filled up with the supplies from Matter. They are already in the port of Hamburg to be picked up and driven into Ukraine on the 16th of August.
Perfect.
Same thing about containers.
Okay. Terrific. Is there anything else specifically that you're looking for right now? Any specific type of items or anything like that?
I am looking for a couple of items which I was supposed to send to Vicky, but I got distracted and I forgot. So I will send Vicky that email. It's some lab equipment.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, we're also doing Burning Man this year. Like we're bringing Ukrainian art to Burning Man, so that's another project that we're working on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you going yourself?
I am. I'm the camp lead.
That will be an experience.
Yeah.
I have a colleague here at Matter that's gone several years in a row.
Is he going this year?
She's not.
Oh.
No, she's not. Otherwise, I would connect you guys. Yeah, she's in a fire troop. Apparently, that's big there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're bringing Ukrainian art from the artist is Ukrainian, but the art was made in the US just because it made more financial sense, and in terms of logistics it was easier. But it's going to be a 26 feet high metal structure which is made in a form of Ukrainian coat of arms, trezub. And it's encased in a wooden box, which symbolizes the way that Ukraine protects the monuments, the historical monuments right now. So, and that outer box is supposed to burn, revealing the phoenix. So lots of symbolism in this artwork.
Wow.
Work of art. Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, please share pictures in the WhatsApp group when you get those. We'll expect some reports from Burning Man, since I've never been and am completely curious.
I've never been either. So yeah, I'll let everyone know.
Yes. And then what are you hearing from your contacts in Ukraine? What are they saying? What's going on? Are they okay?
I'm in contact with mostly paramedics and groups that do frontline evacuations. What do you mean? Like, do you mean the counteroffensive progress, or what exactly are you
Anything.
asking?
I mean, anything you're hearing from them, how they're doing, what they're seeing, just any sort of updates that you have from them.
The counteroffensive is slow. Russians have really prepared really well. The main problem are the mines, because it's rows and rows of mines. And Ukraine does not have the air power to, which is by the Western counteroffensive doctrine, is what you need for the counteroffensive. So, and there is a huge push from the Western allies to have results. So my understanding right now is, because of the lack of the air power, there are a lot of unnecessary deaths just to reclaim 500 meters of territory.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hearing. I mean, I'm also hearing like, give us more tourniquets, give us more splints and all that, but we've been hearing that for 2 years now. So
yeah, for sure. Thank you. All right, well, looks like we're a small group today. We had a bunch more people register, but I know timing is always a thing. So unless anybody has anything else, we can go ahead and wrap up a little early today. The other thing, of course, you guys are all in, but for anybody that's watching this later, we do have the WhatsApp group now, which is going to be terrific. A good way to coordinate and share updates and needs and all of that kind of stuff. So the link is in chat. I will also, of course, keep sharing that on Vector's social media, and that will be around in the email later, all of that too. So does anybody have anything else before we wrap up? It's good to hear voices again and see Vicky's face.
Well, just me. Thank you everyone for joining and for sharing everything that you're doing. And well, it was nice to listen to you and joining.
Yeah. Thank you for all the good work that you're all doing. I know it's a lot of effort. There's it's been a long war. There's more to come, but you guys are still in there. So thank you for that. All right, and I guess we will go ahead and wrap up, and we'll see everybody in the WhatsApp group, and then we'll have another call like this in another 2 months. I know it's right also at the start of school season. So I know that's messed up a lot of people's schedules, even though they're going to be getting some of their time back and are excited about that too. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Thank you so much.
Christy, Luisa, thank you very much.
Have a great day, Yarrow. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you.